あの頃の私はあまり成績が良くなくて、い
Sorry
つ
for
も
the
お母様に怒られてばかりだった。
for the brief moment of double audio. I forgot to check my audio settings. Good job, me. Hey Chidarin, how's it going? Yep, there we go. This should be fine now. Let's back up just a little bit so I can recover the context in my mind. So... Alright, so around middle school. Which means maybe about 20 years ago. Okay. That's where we are. Rosa reminiscing.
私なりに努力していたつもりだったんだけど、お母様の期待には全然応えられなくて。
母上はローザにも随分厳しかったな。当時は同情していたよ。
陰口ばっかだったくせによく言うわね。
予算かエヴァ。それでローザさんはどこでベアトリーチェに会ったんや。
秀吉さん、今はせかしてはダメよ。
Just a moment. Last time it was kind of low, now it's kind of loud. Okay. Let's do this. Hey Bea, how's it going?
いいのよ、ローザさん。楽に話して。
ありがとう。あれはお母様に特にひどく叱られた日よ。
I'm sorry, I'm here. Am I not? I am. Sounds should be good. Visually, I'm hiding. Let's say it has not been the best of days. So, sorry about that. Alright. Sorry. Even though my tutor had promised to keep it a secret, apparently they told Mother all about how I had complained. Mother scolded me horribly, saying that I was a disgrace to the Ushiromiya family. Of course, I was doing the best I could, but I had none of Kraus Nisan's dignity. I couldn't get excellent grades like Eva Nisan, and I had no leadership like Rudolf Nisan. I never stood out, didn't particularly excel at anything, and I almost wanted to ask myself why I had even been born into the Ushiromiya family. I didn't know why I had been born. On that day, I had the experience of my mind going blank for the first time. For the first time since I was born, I realized that in addition to facing or surrendering to my problems, I had the third choice of running away. Even though I say run away, there was no way I could have left Rokkenjima and gone somewhere else. But anyway, I wanted to run away from the mansion in the way I was at the time. In a way, it was like running away from home, or maybe a half-hearted suicide.
いなくなりたかったの。あるいはいなくなることによって親を心配させたいという子供なりの反抗だったのかも。私は森の遥か奥に行けば後ろ宮の家から逃れられる。あるいは迷子になって心配させることで仕返しができると子供ながらに思ったの。
Yes, there's a lane. Indeed.
それで行ってはいけないと言われていた森に？
ええ。浜辺へ出てから海に沿うように。特に理由があったわけじゃないけれど、島をぐるりと回ればその反対側には誰も知らない場所があって、私だけの隠れ家になるような気がしたの。
浜辺からぐるっとってのは無理だな。途中で崖になっちまうだろう。あんなとこ通れるわけがねえぜ。
もちろんよ。だから通れる方へ通れる方へ、とにかく奥へ奥へ進んだわ。 道なんかないひどい森だったけど、あの時の私にはそれが心地よかったの。それほどの険しい森を抜けたなら、その分後ろ宮家から逃れられるって、そんな気持ちだったの。
情けないわね。成績で叱られたならその分努力すればいいのに。
Yeah, Eva, it's clear empathy is not your strongest suit.
それを言ってはいかんね。その代わりローザにはデザイナーとしての才能があったじゃないか。
Literally, this could be taken as him covering for Rosa. But everyone knew that Rosa's company was not making any
よ
profit.
せよ。今は嫌味を言ってる場合じゃねえぜ。そして偶然たどり着いちまったんだな、ベアトリーチェの隠し屋敷に。
Rosa nodded weakly.
どのくらい歩いたんや？地図で場所が示せるんか？夏さん、この島の地図はあるかいな？
いえ、今ここにはありませんが。
無理よ。適当に歩いただけだもの。地図を見せられたってわからないわ。それにあれから20年も経ってる。多分森へ行っても二度とたどり着けないわ。
Several people let out dejected sighs. It was vividly clear that in their haste, they had thought that some hint related to the witch's epitaph, or maybe even the gold itself, might be resting there in that hidden mansion.
六軒島はこの屋敷の周りが整地されているだけに過ぎねえ。他は完全に未開で、前頭測量は相当の手間がかかるだろうな。
でも確かに存在すると分かっただけでも収穫よ。お金はかかるだろうけど、例えば航空写真の会社に調査を頼むとか、このお屋敷を建設した業者に当時のことを聞くとか、調べる方法はあるかもしれないわね。そうね。あるかないかもわからないものを探すよりはまだ方法があるはずよ。
早速調べる価値があるだろう。
その調査は兄弟合同でやるわよ。兄さん一人ではさせないわ。
It wasn't certain that the gold was hidden in that secret mansion, but it seemed that the fireworks between Kraus and Eva had already begun.
兄貴たち、今はよせよ。ローザ、続きを話してくれ。
Blindly, randomly, I kept running on and on. Suddenly it felt like I had come across something like an animal trail. I had no idea how far I'd walked, and I was very tired. So by then I was just naturally taking the easiest path to walk on. As I did, suddenly, right before my eyes, a very, very tall fence appeared. It was a fence wonderfully adorned in a Gothic style. For an instant I spun around, thinking that I might have returned to the original mansion. Of course there were fences around the mansion to stop us from entering the forest, but this fence was decorated differently, and most of all, it was very tall. It probably reached a full 2 stories up. It was covered with ivy and created a mysterious, solemn atmosphere. At the time, I believed the legend of the witch of the forest, Beatrice. I had been told that she was frightening, but some of the servants told me that she would sometimes help you if you respected her. Since I had started to lose confidence in how my life was going, I believed that the only way I could be saved was by receiving her help. So that's what made me think it. I believed that this was the fence of the mansion of Beatrice, the witch of the forest. I thought that if I could meet with Beatrice, she would definitely save me. So I thought I would try to go in. But that fence was very, very tall, and it didn't look like I could go over it, so I decided to walk around it. I thought that if I did, I would eventually reach a gate. But it wasn't that easy. The fence had a length to match its height, and no matter how far I went, I didn't reach a corner. It might have been enclosing a very massive area, or maybe it just felt that way because my child's legs made it difficult to walk in the forest. Anyway, because I couldn't find a gate for a while, I started to feel sad, as though the witch had rejected me. As I did, I eventually came upon a large tree whose twisted root had bent the fence. I might get my clothes dirty, but if I crawled, it looked like I would be able to sneak in.
そこが隠し屋敷だったの？
あれが私たちの言う隠し屋敷なのかはわからない。でも少なくとも私たちの知る場所ではなかったわ。
Oh, it wasn't as though I came out into a garden as soon as I passed the fence. I had to continue through a lot more uncultivated forest after that. And then, the forest suddenly opened up, and what appeared there was an unbelievably fantastical scene. To think that Rokkenjima, where I had believed no one other than us lived, had been hiding such a wonderful mansion. A beautiful flower garden spanned the front of the mansion. It was a flower garden of a completely different design from the rose garden we know so well, and was very lovely. Of course, the mansion was also wonderful. It was 1 or 2 sizes smaller than ours, but it was a very elegant and yet lovely mansion. Then, I saw her. I saw her sitting in a garden chair, positioned to give a view of the flower garden, wearing an elegant dress. It was that black dress embroidered in gold that we would later know from that portrait. I never would have thought of Beatrice's dress as black. But okay. I hadn't seen an elegant dress like that except in fairy tales and on the stage of musicals. That a person would be wearing it as their normal clothes, that in itself seemed quite fantastical. That magical scene was enough to make me lose my sense of reality. If someone had told me then that it was a dream, I might have nodded obediently and waited to wake up in my bed. Since in my shock I had forgotten to hide myself, she eventually noticed me. At first her expression was quite listless, but when she noticed me, her eyes opened very wide. It was only natural. A guest that she didn't know had suddenly appeared. I automatically bowed my head, feeling that I should greet her and apologize for entering without permission. Ah, wait, but if this is the other Beatrice, then I think she does have a black dress. Okay. But then she's not the one in the portrait. Oh, I'm so confused. No, it's her. Okay. That dress is not black. Do I have trouble with colors? I don't know.
新しい庭師なのか?
Those were the first words she said to me. That calmed me down quite a little bit, because I realized that she could be talked with. Because I hadn't been turned into a frog just by meeting her eyes, like the terrifying witch in that fairy tale.
ごめんなさい。勝手にお庭に立ち入って。すみません。
The dress is white and gold. Good one.
そなたは誰か名乗るがよい。後宮ローザと言います。後宮。ほう。金蔵の一族の人間なのか？はい、金蔵の娘です。こんにちは。
I was just a little surprised, as her old father was a great man feared by everyone, and she had referred to him without using honorifics. Oh god. Reading, what is that? So she quickly became frightening. After all, if she could refer to my fearsome father that way, she must be a witch with incredible power. After staring at me curiously, she beckoned me to come over to her. And I obeyed, although filled with belated trepidation. After all, I thought I really might be turned into a frog. And the closer and closer I got, the stronger that fear became. After all, I said this several times already, but that woman and her dress, and the flower garden, and the mansion, that entire harmony was so fantastical and beautiful that it seemed separate from reality. It surely wouldn't have surprised me even if she was actually a witch. and I was truly lucky. She didn't turn me into a frog. As I awkwardly stood there stock still, she motioned to an open chair and urged me to sit down.
座るがよい。初めて訪れた者を庭へ招き、語らうのがわらわの唯一の楽しみよ。
I gotta say, it's quite a pleasure to hear her just speaking normally for once. Also, that tea set.
他に何の楽しみもないがな。
Like, yes, please. I would love that. It's so cute. As she said that, she showed an unhappy smile for just an instant. Because I was full of a strange mix of tension and excitement, I rudely asked her a question suddenly.
森の魔女、ベアトリーチェですか？
いかにも、わらわがベアトリーチェである。
It's interesting how like her way of talking and like referring to herself in that fashion that I don't know what the word would be, just not the usual one, but like with the wait, can I even pronounce it? Warawa? Something like that? Am I saying it right? Fuck. Yeah, okay. I definitely need pronunciation practice in Japanese. But yeah, speaking like that, it sounds refined and cute when she's doing it in the normal voice. And not creepy and gross, like she usually makes me feel.
ベアトリーチェは実在したんだ。
その姿はまさに肖像画の。
ええ、まさにあの肖像画の通りよ。
お父さんの想像の中の魔女じゃなかったんやな。
それで、あなたは彼女と何を話したの？
彼女はお茶を入れながら私のことをいろいろと聞いたわ。まず森を抜けてやってきたことを驚かれた。彼女は柵の外には危険な狼がたくさんいると信じていたみたいだった。だから私が森を抜けてたどり着いたと言ったらとても驚いていたわ。どうやって狼から逃れたのか、ビスケットを渡して許してもらったのか、それとも魔法の街灯をかぶってなんて感じのことを言ってたっけ？
そりゃ確かに魔女っぽいわな。面白いお人や。
What exactly about that sounds like a witch? I would say the absolute opposite. If we were to take this for granted, that's like the scene and the context and everything, that sounds like a person who was basically being kept trapped in there with this like story that there's wolves outside the there are wolves, sorry, outside the fence, and on the other side they were being kept away from that place by being told that there's a witch in the forest that's gonna turn them into frogs. So yeah, okay.
あなた黙って。ずいぶん昔だけど、お父様は森には狼が住んでいるから近寄ってはならないって私たちを脅さなかった？
Both the witch and the wolves story.
ああ、そんなこともあったな。バカらしいね。日本の狼はとっくの昔に絶滅しているというの。
Oh, did they?
まさに子供騙しだな。
記憶にねえな、そんな話。親父に聞かされたっけ？森には魔女だろ？狼なんて話聞いたことないぜ。
あんたがまだ小学校だった頃よ。覚えてない？そしたらあんた、むしろ狼を撫でてみたいなんて言い出すもんだから。お父様はすぐに狼の話を引っ込めて魔女の話に切り替えたのよ。
Okay, it was all Rudolph's fault, I see.
もうその嘘っぽいことと言ったら
当時のルドルフには狼よりも魔女の話の方がてきめんだったね。よく覚えているよ。私の背中にしがみついた夜があったことを覚えているかね？
ルドルフさんにもそんな可愛らしい時代があったのね。
うるせえな。子供の頃の話だぜ。
まあ、とにかく、ベアトリーチェを閉じ込めていたのがお父さんなら、同じ狼の話をするのは道理ね。彼にとって六軒島の広大な森は、後ろ宮家と愛人の屋敷という、相入れない二つの異世界を分断する、越えてはならない壁だったのだから。
柵の高さを考えると、どうやら親父殿は、庭ごと丸々を座敷牢にしたようだな。さながら、二つの世界を分ける国境も同然だったのだろう。
狼はともかく、野犬の類でもいたのではありませんか？そのための策だったかもしれません。
六軒島に狼も野犬もいないわ。その策は、兄さんやキリエさんの言うように、ベアトリーチェと私たちの間の国境だったんでしょうね。
しかし、狼の話を素直に信じるなんて、なんちゅうか、純朴やな。わしの想像していた魔女とは随分違う感じやで。
そうね。それは私も感じたわ。とても尊大で、確かに魔女のイメージ通りの人だったんだけど、どこかとても子供っぽくて、なんていうのか素直すぎるというか、世間知らずな印象を受けたわ。例えるなら本当におとぎの国の人みたいというか、本当に不思議な人だったわ。
それからどうしたんだ？親父の話とかは出たのか？
ええ。何日かに一度、約束されている日もあれば突然の日もあったそうだけど、ふらりとお父様が訪れては一緒にお茶を飲んだり散歩したりしたんですって。私が訪れたその日はたまたま彼女一人だったと言っていたわ。
なるほどな。まさに愛人といったところだ。やれやれ、いくつ年下か知らんが、親父殿もやるね。
いかがわしい意味での交流はなかったと確信しています。
バカね。男と女の仰せに色気がないはずないじゃない。それでどうしたの？それから何の話を？
私の自己紹介をしたので、逆に彼女のことを質問したわ。そうしたら急に雰囲気が落ち込んでしまったの。なんていうのか、とても気だるそうな、寂しそうな。私が初めて彼女の顔を見た時に浮かべていたのと同じ。
まあ秘密の愛人だからな。好き勝手に歩かれてお袋に見つかっちまったらことだ。きっと軟禁に近い状態だったろう。綺麗なドレスに綺麗な屋敷や庭があっても、さぞや窮屈な思いをしてたんだろうぜ。そりゃ苦労もあったろうさ。
Hey Lord Wu, you're absolutely right.
それで
彼女はきっと何か悩みがあった。それを私に話したところで何の解決にもならない。私もとても悲しかったのを覚えてる。私と一緒にいることさえ忘れてしまったかのようで、遠くをぼんやり見ながらずっと無言でいたわ。私はきっと失言してしまったに違いないと思ったんだけど、謝罪の言葉すらも口にしていいような雰囲気じゃなくて、だから私も彼女が私と一緒にいることを思い出してくれるまでずっと黙ってた。
When she did, she muttered unexpectedly.
柵の向こうには本当に狼などおらぬのか？
はい、狼なんて動物園でも見たことないです。
Ah, here we are. Is this what you were referencing last time? Bea, you mentioned something about
動
a
物
zoo.
園とは何か？
Ah, there we go.
ああ、いろんな動物が飼われているところです。
Yeah, at least Beatrice is cute in here.
象とかキリンとか パンダとか珍しい動物がいっぱいいますよ。
Does she even know what elephants, giraffes, and pandas are?
動物園に狼はいないのか？ならその怖くないかもしれんな。
Also the tea set. Yeah, I love the tea set. It's really cute.
狼がいたとしても動物はみんな檻に入ってますから安全です。だから安心して見学できるんですよ。
The witch of the forest, of all people, was for some reason scared of and didn't like wolves. I remember it looked pretty comical.
それはわらわとどう違うのか。
She didn't even know about zoos. I explained how fun zoos could be, but it was very difficult to get a person like her who had never been to one to understand. Quite the opposite, as I explained it to her, her expression grew increasingly dismal. She couldn't see the difference. It seemed that although this mansion surrounded by a high fence appeared at a glance to afford her completely provided for a life of comfort, she couldn't see how she was different from the animals shut up in cages.
わらわは何者なのか。皆はわらわのことをベアトリーチェと呼ぶ。それは確かにそなたの言うように偉大な魔女の名前らしい。しかしそれはわらわではないのだ。わらわには魔法など何も使えぬ。わらわはその魔女の魂を好みに封じられているだけなのだ。
There was definitely something mysterious about her. It wasn't just that she was somehow at odds with the world, but it seemed that she truly believed that a thing called magic actually exists. I think she talked about various weird things, but I don't remember the details. All I thought was, this might be a pitiful person. She was unable to leave this mansion of her own will, a prisoner without even realizing it. And she didn't know anything about the outside world, didn't even understand who she was. She probably vaguely understood herself that she was pitiful. But since she didn't know anything, it seemed that she couldn't realize that this was unhappiness. Nessan, long ago, when I told you that I felt sorry for a bird in a cage, I remember you said this to me. A bird that only knows the inside of a cage doesn't long for the outside. That is so wrong. But she wasn't a bird, she was ultimately a human. As a knower of birds, no, that's wrong. Even if she had never been outside the cage, she understood that it wasn't the whole world. The bird understands that too, I can vouch for it. So, I invited her.
柵の外へ出てみますか？
本当に狼はいないのか？
いないですよ。絶対平気ですから。
出たいぞ。だがいつも門は閉まっている。
私が入ってきたところがあります。くぐり抜けられる隙間があるんです。
そこを抜ければ外の世界があるのか？
はい。
狼は本当にいない？
I mean, other than wolves, there's just the quote-unquote cage of the island itself, because you're like, okay, you're gonna go a little bit further than the fence, but you're still kind of trapped.
はい。いませんよ。
I had only planned to invite her for a short walk, but she kept looking over her shoulder at the mansion as though she were seriously deliberating over something. Then I learned what she was preparing herself for.
わらわはもうここは嫌だ。外へ出たい。そしてわらわが何者で、この世界はどうなっていて、わらわは何のために生まれてきたのかを。
I didn't know what her life had been like until then. It was probably something that she couldn't express easily. If it was harsh, she just had to say that she wanted to escape. If it was sweet, she just had to say that she would stay. To liken it to something, perhaps it was similar to how a hot fireplace on a winter day makes the air get thicker and thicker, giving you a headache. Even though you know that you shouldn't keep things the way they are, You still need the courage to open the window and be tormented by the cold wind. She was starting to realize that she couldn't stay there forever. She was starting to realize that she had to go outside sometime. But since she didn't know about the outside world, to take that first step outside must have required an unimaginable amount of courage. And she had taken that into consideration and resolved herself. She had put that resolution to go outside into words for what was surely the first time in her entire life. I hesitated slightly. It had been decided that she would live here, by father. It was as if she were father's beloved bird in a cage. If I just let her escape, wouldn't I be harshly scolded by
見た
father?
い。何を？動物園が見たいのだ。
Oh, that's cute. I was just a little surprised when she finally showed me a very soft smile. That might have been an inner peace coming from her newfound readiness to venture out from her cage. A soft smile which I wouldn't have imagined could have come out of that dark face.
そなたと話すと知らないことばかり出てくる。わらわは学校なるものもわからぬし、動物園も知らぬ、映画館も知らぬ、遊園地も知らぬ。そしてそれを知りたいと心の底から思う。そなたはわらわをそこへ連れて行ってくれるのか？
I was nervous about how I would do it and keep it how I would do it and keep it a secret from father, but her face looked so happy, so I went along with her and nodded. But it seemed that the meaning behind my vague expression was not communicated to her. It seemed that she believed that I would really take her to all of those places if we left. She was pure and genuine. She had probably never been tricked by anyone. Aside from living there? Yeah. No, maybe it should be said that she hadn't been taught how to doubt. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Her face was somewhat radiant and yet pathetic. Radiant and yet pathetic. Okay. I don't know how to envision that, but alright. I wanted to somehow grant her modest wish.
わらわはもうベアトリーチェは嫌だ。わらわが何者なのか。ベアトリーチェではない新しい人間を始めたい。だからここから連れ出してほしい。もう紅茶もいらぬ、ドレスもいらぬ、金蔵とも二度と会わぬ。ここよりわらわを連れ出してくれ、ローザ。
However, that responsibility was one that a child as me couldn't possibly bear fully. I was about to say, isn't Rosa just supposed to be a kid? But her serious gaze and her brilliant smile, almost as though an evil spirit had lifted from her, made me feel a little courage start to rise up inside myself. This was definitely something that would get me in a lot of trouble, but it was definitely the right thing to do. I don't know how it would turn out, but I'll take her out. Of course, I won't be able to ask help from father, and not mother either. Should I talk to Oni-sama or One-sama? Hey Zeku, how's it going? No, what about that reliable Genji-san? Or... that's right, what about Kumasawa-san, to whom I can always talk when I'm in trouble? Oh, bless Kumasawa-san. I'm sure they'll be able to do something. Thumbs up, looks good. Anyway, for now, I'll take her out of here, because this is no longer a place where she wishes to be. And so, I took her to the crack in the fence and led her outside. She was all nervous, checking to make sure there were no wolves around, but after that fear disappeared. She seemed somehow to be having fun, and just walking around this dense forest. Every time she found something, she would ask me about it. And they were all really minor things. What's that flower? What's that leaf? And that sound? And that smell? It was really like the inside of that fence had been her entire world. So to her who had stepped out of the world, this was, you know, it's strange. Ugh. In the beginning, when I first saw her, I thought she was the absolute incarnation of a witch relaxing by a witch's mansion. But now it was different, or actually the complete opposite. She had gone out of a world she had believed to be finite, and was full of joy at realizing for the first time that the world was endless. So everything she saw was new. It was almost as though she was the one who had been thrown into a fairy tale. If she was Alice, then I felt almost like a rabbit holding a watch. Yeah, that's a very good comparison. Very, very good one. To her, it was probably a really fun walk, filled to the brim with excitement. But as for me, the truth was I was completely bewildered. After all, I had walked randomly to get there. So there was no way I could have known the way back to the mansion. Whoopsies! There were no lights in the forest, and I hadn't brought a flashlight. I realized that it would be terrible if it got dark while we were still like this, and grew impatient. She was too innocent, and apparently she couldn't understand at all how frightening it would be to face the night inside the forest. But I was the one who had brought her outside. Somehow I had to take responsibility and resolve this situation. So I thought that for now we should just go out to the sea. If we then followed the coast around, eventually we should definitely be able to make it back to the mansion. However, there was much more of a problem than I had imagined. After all, I didn't have a map or a compass. There was no way I could walk in a straight line through an uncultivated forest, and I had immediately lost my sense of direction. I already had no clue which trail I had come by and was completely lost. At this rate, night would definitely fall before I even knew where I was walking. But I didn't have the luxury to complain, because that woman following behind me was so innocent and having so much fun. Therefore, for the sake of her smile, if nothing else, I absolutely had to guide her out of this forest. Gritting my teeth so that I didn't show her a troubled face, I pushed my way onward through the pathless woods. And although we had various troubles, we were lucky enough to make it to the sea. At that time, I still didn't even have a clue where I was on the island, but for the time being, I was just a little reassured, realizing that if I just went around this way, I would surely be able to return to the mansion. Of course, although I said that we reached the sea, we were on the top of a rocky cliff. The beach was far below us. I was tired from walking around the forest for so long, so I thought that even though it was a rocky beach, an open area would probably be much easier to walk in. So I planned to somehow go down the rocky cliff. Oh no. Oh, that's not gonna end badly. It did look pretty dangerous, and I wondered if there was some other way. However, Beatrice agreed with my plan without any doubts. Even though she was probably older than me, she obeyed me truly obediently, almost as though she were some kind of chick who believed I was a mother bird. I searched to see if there wasn't some place where I could go down the cliff. Then I found a place where the cliff had crumbled into a slope. It looked a little dangerous, but if I went down on both hands and both legs like I was crawling, I thought it would probably be okay.
ここを降りましょう。気をつけないと危ないけど、とにかく海岸に降りて、あとは沿って歩けば、もう迷わずに済むと思うの。
うん。ローザがそうするのならそうしようぞ。わらわは迷うとやらも楽しいぞ。とても愉快だ。
She really had no sense of danger. There was probably no mistake that she had lived a life without discomfort. Even though she knew it would get dark when night fell, she couldn't imagine how dangerous the inside of a forest could be without a light. Furthermore, it seemed that she couldn't grasp at all how dangerous it might be if she fell from the cliff. Oh no. I warned her once more to be careful. I cautiously examined the place where we could go down. It looked pretty high up. I think it might have been about 10 meters down. If you looked at it from the bottom up, it would probably have looked shorter than the roof of the mansion. but looking from the top, it felt almost like staring down from the Tokyo Tower's observation room. But Beatrice still appeared to be completely without fear. It felt as though she had never even been taught that high places were dangerous. No, maybe she truly believed that she was a witch and that she could fly, so there wasn't anything dangerous.
気をつけてくださいね。結構高いから。
気をつけるぞ。下へ降りたら海があるな。そこに水族館があるのか？
いえ、この島には水族館はないですよ。でも、海にはたくさんの魚がいると思います。
そうか。魚はいるのか。そなたが話してくれた、クジラとかイルカとかペンギンとかはいるのか？
いえ、そういうのは水族館に行かないといないです。水族館は島を出ないとないですよ。
そうなのか。だが楽しみだ。クジラとはどんな魚なのか？
すっごく大きな魚で、あれ？哺乳類かな？それで潮を吹いたりします。
ほう。ならばイルカは？
頭のいい魚で、あれ？これも哺乳類だっけ？とても頭が良くて芸とかを覚えられるんですよ。
ほう。ならばペンギンはどうなのか？
あれ、これは鳥類だっけ？
なんだ、水族館なのにさっきから魚が出てこんぞ。
まあその魚だけでなくいろいろな海の生き物がいっぱいいるんですよ。
ほほう、それはとても楽しみだ。
There it is. Some might have described it as a funny, rushed and short voice. No, probably it was a scream, I think. She suddenly made a sound like that. Her body separated from the cliff and gently fell down. I immediately thought to say to her, "How many times did I warn you to be careful?" It was the thought of a child. It was how a child immediately gets mad when something happens, trying to show that they are not at fault. Oh, Bea, it's okay. Of course, I said it too. Are you alright? How many times did I warn you?
So, 崖から落ちてどうなったんだ？
彼女はどうしたんだ、ローザ。
Rosa fell silent. Her gaze fell to her feet as though she were seeing through the floor to some disgusting memory.
死んだのね。
Eva's brutal words were the ones that Rosa had most wanted to avoid. And when she was hit with them, she screamed in resignation.
死んだわ！岩浜だったもの。尖った危険な岩がたくさんむき出しになっていた。目を見開いたまますごい血が溢れ出して、たちまち真っ赤な絨毯を広げていった。声をかけたわ、揺さぶったわ。でも彼女は返事はおろか、瞬きすらも。いいえ、まぶたを閉じることさえしてくれなかった。私が悪いのよ。彼女はドレス姿だったのよ。あんな動きにくい格好なのを知っていたのに、私が歌舞伎を降りようなんて言ってしまったから。彼女はすごい素直だったから、私の言うことに何の疑いもせずに従って。
And you were a kid yourself.
いつまで死んでいるつもりか。いい加減に目を覚ませ。まったく、わらわの預かり知れぬところで勝手に肉塊に姿を変えようって。
おめえのとこの太もも姉ちゃんとイチャついてただけだぜ。それより、これはどういうことだ？
見たままよ。わらわは足を踏み外して転落し、死んだ。
なんだと？19人目として登場しておきながら、死んだだと？ふざけるな！そんなわけはない！ローザおばさんは子供だったし、焦ってた。医者がいたわけでもない。多分、死んだと誤解しただけで、お前は多分、仮死状態か何かで生きていたんだ。そうだろ？
It can't be. She's obviously alive. Otherwise, she wouldn't be here in front of me, right? The kid-aged Auntie Rosa was shaking Beatrice's body, crying. I too stared into that face, but her eyes were still open and it really was a corpse. I wanted to brush it off with something vague, like a state of apparent death. But from any angle, there was nothing apparent about it. She really didn't look anything but dead. Beatrice had fallen upside down from a cliff of that height, and her head had smashed against the pointed tip of those sharp rocks. You would die, wouldn't you? From that height, on those rocks. But I can't accept that. No matter how dead she looks, she has to be alive. And she became this damn irritating witch. That way, all of the inconsistencies fit. She'd been confined by grandfather in a hidden mansion the whole time, and then to avenge herself she planned out her revenge, and would go on to commit a number of atrocious murders. Auntie Rosa probably just mistakenly thought that she was dead. But she was really alive, and as soon as Auntie Rosa left, she miraculously started breathing again. Yeah, and then 20 years passed. So, how does that part compute? And then she somehow lived until today and would open the curtain on the scene of her revenge. Otherwise, the facts don't fit together.
そう簡単には騙されねえぞ。赤で復唱できるか？確かに死んだと。どうせ生きてるんだろ？見え見えだぜ。
それのどこが生きているように見えるというのか。間違いなく死んでいる。
My theory that the 19th person was grandfather's mistress, who was a human Beatrice, broke down. I thought I had managed to segue from a defensive position into a counterattack, but...
なら、お前は何者だってんだ。お前はたった今、死んだんだろうが。まさか魔法で蘇ったとか言い出すんじゃねえだろうな。
すでに説明したと思うがな。そこに倒れているわらわは確かに魂はわらわだが、その体はわらわをうつしおへつなぎ止めておく肉の檻に過ぎなかったと。そしてその肉の檻がこうして壊れた。それがどういうことかわかるか？
もうさっぱりだぜ。好きなだけ魔女っ子トークに興じろよ。チャカの代わりに聞いてやら。なんだ、空っぽか。おい、紅茶のおかわりを頼むぜ。
ロノエ、客人が紅茶をお望みだ。
When Beato clapped her hands, Ronoe appeared. Butlers sure are convenient.
おかわりですね。かしこまりました。どの程度お継ぎしましょうか。
どうせチャカがボリューム満点だろうからよ。半分でいいぜ。
それでもなみなみとお入れするのが英国式でございますよ。
Then why did you even ask? Even though just enough to wet my throat would have been fine, he filled it to the top with tea. I turned my back to Beato, sipping it in silence.
ちょっと目を覚ましてよ、ベアトリーチェ。
Rosa shook me. No, shook the corpse that had once been me. I watched over her from a short distance away. Ah, so I fell from there and died. I believed that was true for a while. Because asking despite the custom is also a custom. Okay. Alright, I'm not gonna think too deeply into that because I feel like it would break my mind. Recursive customs. Gotta love it. After that, I saw Rosa spend a long time beside my corpse, then watched her as she ran away. Just thrown away things, I guess. Eventually, I realized that I was a different individual from that corpse.
そうか。わらわは、わらわか。ようやく、金蔵の戒めから逃れられたのか。
Eventually, I felt the memory returning. The fact that I was an endless witch who had lived for 1,000 years. And then I remembered that I had been summoned by Kinzo and for a long time had been imprisoned by him. While I had been imprisoned in a cage of flesh, I had completely lost my memory as a witch. However, thanks to Rosa, if you could say that, thanks to my accidental but fortunate death, I had now finally brought myself together.
ローザ、そなたはわらわを死なせてしまったと後悔しているだろうが、わらわにとっては感謝したいくらいよ。
Rosa was already nowhere to be seen. Had she gone to call a doctor, or had she escaped from a scene which had become frightening? That no longer matters. That soulless shell is no longer worth anything. All that aside, how frail I am now. Even this glorious midday sun is agony to me now. I destroyed my human form. Then I changed into several gold butterflies. Yes, with my magic power as frail as it is now, this form is easier. And to escape even a little from the light of the sun, I rode the wind and lightly passed over the cliff. It will probably be somewhat cooler in the forest. Anyway, I'll take some time to recuperate and regain my original power, as I think of how I will pay Kinzo back for all he has done. Dancing alone through the air, I looked down at the shore one more time. On the rocky shore lay the figure I had once possessed, and that I would eventually regain. To regain the form of that physical body I have thrown away, it will probably take more than 100 to 200 days. It might require 1,000 days, or maybe even more. However, I am the Endless Witch, the Golden Witch who has lived for 1,000 years. Waiting any countable number of days is no problem at all. Oh, Kinzo, you may regret that you are not here now. No longer will you be able to capture me.
"それで、お前は黄金の蝶に姿を変え、森の中に潜んで魔力が回復するのを待った。
そういうことだ。そなたを嘲笑するためにこの姿を取るが、本来は蝶たちの姿でいた方が魔力的には楽なのだ。
無理しねえで楽な格好で嫌がれよ。ムカつく笑い声を聞かずに済むぜ。
蝶に姿を変え森に紛れたわらわを探し出すことなど、もはや金蔵には不可能なこと。だが、金蔵も指を加えているわけではなかった。しかしわらわを捕らえる方法はすぐに用意はできぬ。そのため、まずはわらわをこの島から逃さぬ方法、そしてわらわが力を取り戻すことがないよう。やれやれ。とにかく金蔵の執念深いことと言ったら想像を絶する。あれに惚れられるのもなかなかに辛いものだぞ。
蝶になったお前を逃がさない方法？なんだよ。森全体に蚊帳でも張っとってのか？
うん。それを魔法的に行ったのだ。そなたは知っておるか？ 船着き場の先の洋上に岩礁が浮かび、そこに小さな東洋魔術の祠があることを。
ああ、あれか。今年はなくなってたけどな。昔、修験者が作ってったとかいう祠なんだろ。
六軒島は元来、歪みのある島でございます。魔力的な存在や、それに類した存在を引きつけます。お嬢様も、そんなうちのお一人でございましょうね。紅茶のおかわりはいかがですか？
いただこうぞ。それらは人間たちに害をなし、おそらく数々の不気味なる伝承を残してきたであろう。それを聞きつけた東洋魔術師が古代に設けたのがあの祠なのだ。長い時間を経てその力は失われておった。金蔵はそれを修復することで島の結界をよみがえらせ、わらわを再び島に縛り付けたのだ。
西洋魔女のお前に東洋の魔法なんて通じるのかよ。
本来は相性が悪い。しかしわらわを封じたいという目的においてはある意味都合が良かっただろうな。わらわも西洋魔術であれば心得がある。どのような結界であっても何かの手が打てたであろう。しかし東洋魔術は専門外よ。わらわが飲まんとするスープに対しスプーンではなく箸を与えられたようなものだ。
Ah, this time it's chopsticks, not a fork. Okay.
東洋魔術が強く支配する空間では、西洋魔術はひどく力を失います。ただでさえ、1000日はかけたであろう力を取り戻す時間を、さらに長くかけねばならなかったのです。
それで、約20年かけて魔力を取り戻し、今こうして蘇ったって言いたいのか？
辛く長い年月であった。わらわは黄金の蝶の姿のまま長く日々を送り、金蔵の屋敷を見つけ、奴の日常を見守った。どのように仕返しをしてやろうか、それを思案することだけを日々の楽しみに生きてきた。わらわにとって幸運だったのは、その間の20年間、金蔵はわらわを探し出し、捕らえるあらゆる秘術にことごとく失敗した点だったか。人間に起こせる奇跡の数などたかが知れている。わらわをあれだけ長く捕らえていただけでも十分に身に過ぎた奇跡だ。そう何度も捕らえられてはたまらぬわ。
じいさまが前のゲームだかで言ってたな。魔法は確率的奇跡に宿る。
うん。金蔵はわらわを再び捕らえる秘術を探るうちにそこに行き着いたのだ。そして13人の生贄を捧げることでわらわを再び蘇らせる儀式を
13人の生贄。
それが魔女の碑文、生贄の歌でございます。第1の番に6人、第2の番に2人、そして第4の番から第8の番にかけて5人、合計13人の生贄を捧げる禁じられた儀式。その生贄はランダムに決められ、儀式を執り行う金蔵自身も例外にはなりません。
バカ野郎。この島で起こったあの凄惨な殺人が全部おかしな儀式だって言うのかよ。
I was vaguely thinking that this might be a possibility, but I can't just hear this is the truth from a witch and a demon and say, oh really, and accept it. One thing that doesn't make sense if I even try to entertain this hypothesis is that like, was she interested to be revived by Kinzo again? Because I get this feeling that she was in a way happy he couldn't. Because if he could have, then he probably would have kept her prisoner again. But then it felt like, again, if we're entertaining the hypothesis that this is what it is, this is the fantastical part of the story, she kind of seemed like she went along with it. And she herself would have been performing the murders. Because that's what she's saying. I killed them using magic. Right? I'm confused, but okay.
六軒島には18人いる。13人が生贄に捧げられ、5人だけが生き残る。そしてわらわはよみがえる。つまり、金蔵がわらわに再び会える確率は、だいたい3分の1といったところか。その確率に自らの命を落とし。
The relationship with Kinzo seems very difficult. A lot of hate, but also some love, or maybe respect. Yeah, it's definitely layered with a lot of complexity there. And definitely not as flat and cliche as like, oh, she was his mistress kind of thing. Definitely not.
残りわずかな寿命の最後の一瞬に、わらわとの再会を望んだのだ。
そのふざけた儀式のために、俺たち親族が集められたってのかよ。
I mean, that is clear. He did do that. What happened to Kinzo last game? Well, he was devoured. No. I don't want to think back on that. Please, please, don't make me think back on that. I just... No. Oh.
ふざけやがって！いい加減なことを抜かすんじゃねえ！
もとより契約の通りだ。金蔵の生を終えるとき、貸し与えた黄金と、そして金蔵が生み出した財産のすべてを、わらわがもらい受けることになっておる。金蔵には散々に英雄を飲まされたが、今となっては、この1000年でも稀な時間だった。何しろ、魔女の天敵は退屈よ。それから逃れることのできる数十年間を提供した金蔵には。
Kinzo ain't the big problem. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why, logically speaking, if you can even apply any sort of logic to the fantastical avenue of thinking about the story. Why would she go along with the ritual? Is it because she didn't have a choice? She couldn't do it by herself, so she was like, okay, I'll play along, I'll make it happen, and then I'll give you what you deserve, meaning a horrible death. And take everything from you. Is that it? Because otherwise I can't see it. But then, where's the love in that, right? I'm supposed to see it with love. Where's the love? I don't know. Where do I find it? Yeah. With that love, it cannot be seen. Yeah, I cannot see it because I don't know what the love is, which kind of part it's playing here. So, I guess I'll just sit back and try to absorb and try to get there.
なるほど。それも含めて借りがあるやもしれぬ。
Keep reading.
わらわは金蔵のゲームに乗ることにした。そしてまず、金蔵は後宮家当主の指輪をわらわに返却する。わらわの黄金で復興させた家だからな。そして、13人の生贄を気まぐれに決めるのだ。そしてその過程で、お前たちが右往左往し、わらわに立ち向かおうと様々な人間模様を見せてくれることは、わらわにとって非常に愉快なことだ。 わらわはこの金蔵のゲームを実に気に入っている。
Right. So, I guess this is love of being entertained. I don't know.
ああ、そんな魔法話は絶対信じねえぞ。じゃあお前は誰なんだ？お前は崖から転落して死んだんだろうが、魂が抜け出して蝶になって森へ？そんなのあるわけねえだろうが。だがお前はここにいる。誰だってんだ？お前こそが19人目じゃねえのかよ。
そうであるな。わらわこそが19人目であろうな。だがダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。この六軒島に19人以上の人間は存在しない。
Okay. Now she's hitting us with the red. Alright.
なんだってってことは18人プラス X の X は存在しないってのかよ。俺が取ったコマ X は存在しないってのか
よ。そういうことになります。実にご愁傷様ですよ。しかしお嬢様は手がお早いですな。もう少し泳がせて最後にひっくり返すものとばかり思っておりました。さてバトラス様、紅茶のおかわりはもう結構ですか？
いらねえよ、畜生！俺は信じないぞ。18人の中に犯人がいるわけねえ。じゃあお前は何なんだよ。どうしてここにいるんだよ。19人目が存在しないってんなら、お前は18人の誰かの変装だって言うのかよ。
そなたにとってしぶしぶとではあっても18人の誰かを疑うことが最後の逃げ道、キャスリングとなるであろうな。しかしわらわはここからが難しいのだ。そなたはなりふりさえ捨てれば18人もの人間を自在に犯人に仕立て上げられる。その18人の駒をくぐり抜けわらわを認めさせチェックメイトに至るのは実に難しいことよ。
そんなことするもんか。18人の誰も疑わない。疑いたくない。またここに追い込まれちまったのか。畜生畜生畜生。
三度に及んだそなたとのゲームもいよいよ終盤戦のようではないか。もう逃げ場はないぞ。お前の大好きな18人を疑いたくないだろう。わらわがそれをかぶってやるぞ。なのになぜわらわを拒むのか。序盤は本のように、中盤は魔術師のように、そして終盤は機械のようにさせとな。これより詰めるぞ。ゆっくりじっくり確実にな。いや、それともそなたにふさわしく一気に畳みかけるのが良いのか。そなたにはそれが似合うだろう。そうしよう。すでにそなたの苦手とする攻め方も知り抜いておるわ。
But what has been gained through going to this like background story of, you know, what has been gained? Why couldn't she give us the red before, but now she's like, okay, there you have it. I don't know. Evil monologue moment. I mean, that's basically almost all of Beatrice's moments. Hey Kevin, how's it going? Lambda said that Beato overplays constantly. Yep, that is true. It is not important and will never ever be brought up again, surely. I don't know how to take that. I guess the one thing that could have been gained is the fact that it wasn't just Beatrice who gave the exposition of it all. It was Rosa. So then you tie it with a human, another of the human's experiences. So it's not just Beatrice making stuff up, it's... Oh no, I don't like this. This is where we see where they are at the end of the first night, and then in the morning, people are dead. God, no, we're back there again. Oh, fuck me. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Nothing bad will happen, Goda will protect everyone. Yeah. With the power of food. God, I can't believe it, but I'm not ready. I'm not looking forward to it. And the desire to shoehorn in Black Raven's won out. Okay. Alright. Beginning of the ritual. Aye. Wow, that was midnight that the clock was showing, right? Oh god.
この旅のゲームはどう転ぶのか。委ねるもよし、抗うもよし。いずれにせよ、わしに残されたわずかの命をトスに値する実に楽しい宴よ。
How will the game be resolved this time? Kinzo has knowledge of the previous times? Is he breaking the fourth wall? What is happening here? In his dimly lit study, which was occasionally brightened by lightning, Kinzo kept mumbling to himself, laughing to himself. Caw. Cute. On the antique clock with an intricate design that was sitting on his desk, the two overlapping hands had begun to tilt to the right and separate from one another. The passage of time that had counted to 24 had returned to 0 and begun to start counting again.
時の刻みとは残酷なものよ。
Yeah, sure is.
24を数えるために1日をかけてたどり着き、そして再び0に戻る。23時59分までは確かに数えただろう。しかし、24時にたどり着くことはできたのだろうか。たどり着けず、再び0時に戻ったと考えれば、それはなんとも虚しいことよ。
No, is that not the same as a person's life? You live aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. People may praise the departed, saying that they did reach 24, but that is absolutely not 24. It is nothing more than 0.
わしは違うぞ。 わしは生きて24にたどり着く。
I am so confused. I don't understand anything. Let me really reread these. Maybe it's also because I'm tired. It drags itself all the way to 24 over the course of a day and then returns back to 0. It surely managed to count to 2359. However, was it ever able to reach 2400? If you believe that it returns to 000 again without reaching it, how futile it seems. No, that is not the same as a person's life. You live aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. People may praise the departed, saying that they did reach 24, but that is absolutely not 24. It is nothing more than 0. Ah, okay, I understand now. I understand it was about the dead. Whether they'd been fulfilled or not. Fulfillment doesn't necessarily equate to perfection. You can be fulfilled and not reach perfection, and that's fine. Not gonna lie, I found this confusing too before. Yeah. Alright, so Kinzo believes of himself as being special.
そここそが黄金鏡。ベアトリーチェの住処なのだから。
Japanese and their crazy time dilation chambers. Good one. Kinzo had been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck, his own propensity for victory, and doing it over every time he didn't like the result. Ah, yeah, how to... how to read your future as being successful. Reread it every time it turns out to not be. How to cram more hours in a day, the life hack. It does make sense the thing that we were discussing a long while ago, I think. Bea shared something in the Discord about Japanese people tracking time past midnight as 24, 25, 26. Actually, it makes sense. I can see the use in it. Because it is indeed every single time that, like, for example, if I have a stream and then it passes midnight by the time I'm like fully done and I don't know, sitting or whatever, and while I streamed, for example, Bea might share some fan art in the Discord, yeah? So I sit on the couch and check my notifications on my phone and see Bea sharing images, and it says yesterday. Because it was during the stream before midnight, and now it says yesterday. I'm like, yesterday? And I'm thinking 24 hours beforehand, right? If it didn't do that, then I wouldn't be as confused. So I can totally see the practical use in doing it that way, to refer to like extra hours past midnight when your day basically has not been reset, so that like the mind doesn't get confused. I kind of see where they're coming from on that. The most forbidden action in tarot reading is to try predicting the same thing twice. It is a desecration to the result of the fortune telling, and also desecrates the existence higher than humans, which delivers signs through the tarot cards. However, Kinzo knew. The reason the tarot cards shouldn't be used twice was that, since it was nothing more than a random number generator, it was natural that if you read them twice, a different result would appear. Therefore, reading twice was only forbidden to preserve the mystique of the tarot cards' results. However, that didn't mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot reading seriously. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot reading was done in a completely different way, of course, as all the things Kinzo does. That was to repeat the reading over and over until he reached the result most favorable to him, without the slightest amount of compromise. It would depend on how he defined the result most favorable to him, but if he demanded the best result in the strict sense, it would be the same as a simple roulette of luck, where he sought an arithmetic miracle. However, to Kinzo, who made miracles of numbers the basis of his magical power, this could become very much like a magic ritual. In other words, until the result he desired appeared perfectly, he would repeat the tarot readings over and over, turning his labor, conviction, and the feelings of his heart into a prayer, so that when it reached heaven, the result would be sublimated. This was Kinzo's personal magical interpretation. Okay. Oh. I'm sorry. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud in English. In Romanian, we do say the T. Sorry. Therefore, even though the cards Kinzo used were exactly the same as generally used cards, the way they were used was completely different. Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. It seemed the result he expected wasn't showing up. Yeah, I don't know how to read phonetically, I'm sorry. On the contrary, many bad cards that shouldn't often appear were appearing repeatedly, and continuing to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. It seemed that Kinzo had taken some kind of sign from his abnormal course of events. But judging by the unlucky cards scattered over the desk, it was difficult to imagine that the sign had been a good one. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Then, as the thunder roared, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver and dialed. In front of the mansion entrance, Shannon was cooling her flushed face in the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sometime. It wasn't as if her heart had been unprepared, and she had nodded as an answer. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously? She found herself worrying that he might have thought of her as a cheap girl because of her immediate reply. Perhaps at least holding off until tomorrow morning would have given the impression of thinking more seriously. Now that she had already received the ring from George, Shannon kept fidgeting in embarrassment, thinking she should have done this, should have done that. As she did, she heard the sound of footsteps coming towards her, splashing through puddles. Shannon immediately chased away the emotions welling up inside her.
Genji-sama? Kanon-kun mo... sumimasen. Sugu ni modoranakute,
She grew stiff, thinking that she would surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lovers' meeting with George.
Shannon, 親方様が至急書斎へ来るようにとの仰せだ。急ぐぞ。
はい、かしこまりました。
Ever since I saw the final 5 minutes of Namek in Dragon Ball Z as a kid, I knew that in Japan time flows differently. Why, those 5 minutes were spread across several episodes? Is that what you mean?
一体何事なの？
不吉な予感がするってさ。自分で儀式を起こしておいて都合のいい話さ。
強打に蹴取られぬよう裏から入れ。
It was like 3 or 4 episodes, okay.
足音に気をつけろ。
はい。姉さん、注意して。姉さんは賑やかだから。
Kanon was especially good at hiding his presence. Like he was a cat. He was able to suddenly be there without anyone noticing and leave in the same way. So even if he were to step in a puddle, the sound he would make would be far smaller than that of the rain hitting the puddles. Genji also had that ability. Well, in the first place, that was how the servants were supposed to be, even going by the name of furniture. Just like how desks and closets go unnoticed by members of the family, the servants also treated being able to show up unobtrusively when they needed to as their greatest virtue. In that sense, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was also trying to hide her footsteps, but compared to Kanon and Genji, well, you could say she was a little more lively. Eventually they reached the back door, and the three of them entered the mansion. Immediately they thought they felt something. It wasn't quite a sense of smell, rather they felt it from the depths of their noses. And this hard-to-describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual.
源氏様。急ぐぞ。
The perception caused them to feel that something tense was closing in on them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, aiming for Kinzo's study, still hiding their footsteps. When they dashed up the stairs, that smell of sweet poison particular to Kinzo's study reached their noses.
いかがなさいましたか、源氏様。
結界が死んでいる。
え？
After hearing Canon, she looked at the door to the study. A scorpion pattern was engraved on the doorknob. A powerful magic repellent. The final barrier which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken. Of course, there was no change to the doorknob that the eye could see. However, they who could understand things that people couldn't perceive were able to recognize the dramatic change.
親方様、親方様、源氏でございます。ここをお開けください。
Genji called in this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study.
シャノン、背中を守れ。カノン、室内を探れ。
はい。
Canon put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of the other two who were watching the door, Shannon faced the other way with her back to them, prepared for the unexpected.
親方様はいらっしゃられるはずです。ですが、静かすぎます。
ご無事だということか。
いいえ、静かがすぎます。
まさか。
親方様、扉を失礼させていただきます。
Genji pulled a gold key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed, other than the one Kinzo held. He stuck it in the keyhole and turned it heavily. At a glance, that would have indicated that it really was a strong lock. However, the fact that the barrier had been destroyed meant that this door had long been wide open for anyone with magical power. The lock made a heavy sound, indicating that the door had been opened to humans as well.
失礼いたします。
As Genji respectfully bowed his head, and Kanon's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon acted nervous, they entered the study. They immediately discovered Kinzo's figure. He was sitting in a reception sofa so that his back faced them. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him, and again bowed deeply. Kanon also noticed that person, and he didn't bow his head. He went in front of Shannon and spread both arms, blocking the way to her. So without even seeing the person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was.
お越しでございましたか、ベアトリーチェ様。
源氏か。なかなかに早いな。やはり家具は主の呼びかけに素早く応える方が良い。こやつとは大違いだ。
ロノエ様もお越しでしたか。
Genji directed his greeting towards the thin darkness behind and to the right of Beatrice, where nothing appeared to be. Even Kanon and Shannon couldn't have imagined that someone would be there. However, the darkness answered immediately and praised Genji's eyesight.
相変わらずさすがです。だいぶの久しぶりになりますね。それにしても老けましたね。それだけの弱いを重ねましたか。
充実した日々を過ごしております。ロノエ様におかれましても、ますます充実されておりますようお見受けいたします。
The fact that Genji's family name and Ronoe's name are pronounced basically the same, it trips me up. Does it mean anything, or is it just a coincidence? Why would the author make that choice then? I wanna know.
ええ、おかげさまです。そしてシャノンも久しぶりですね。君は随分と美しくなった。そして随分と強くなったようですね。良いことです。
あ ありがとうございます。
It does mean something. Okay. Well, a point to me, because I noticed it the first time. But I wasn't sure. I wasn't necessarily suggesting anything.
姉さん、あいつは一体。
It's just that now having them together in the same scene in front of each other. Yeah.
カノン君とは会うのは初めてになりますね。私はベアトリーチェ様の家具頭を任されておりますロノウエと申します。
Aww. Oh, thank you. At least I got something. Because I'm pretty lost on most everything else. Feels good.
源氏さんの古い馴染みですよ。あなたと同じに私も家具です。使える主は異なりますが。
The color of tension didn't disappear from Kanon's expression in the slightest. Serving under a different master, furniture could become kind, brutal, or anything else, as desired. If he calls himself furniture serving the hated Beatrice, then surely he was a despicable being as well.
わらわもすっかり嫌われたものだ。坊主憎ければ今朝までなんとかとはよく言ったものよ。
Beatrice openly sneered at Kanon's hate-filled face. Then Kanon finally observed. Beatrice and Kinzo were enjoying a chess game, sitting in facing reception sofas. But Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his head with both hands, his eyes closed tight, as he contemplated his next move. No, was he in anguish?
親方様。
わらわが金蔵に伝えたのは2つ。良い知らせと悪い知らせだった。良い知らせは、儀式を終えずしてわらわと再会できる幸運を得たこと。悪い知らせは、金蔵が儀式の一番最初の生贄に選ばれてしまったことだ。こればかりはわらわにもどうしようもない。実に気まぐれにルーレットにて決めたのだから。
嘘つけ。もてあそんで殺しているくせに。
よして、カノン君。
さて金蔵、そろそろ負けを認める気になったのか？これにてわらわとの長きにわたる勝負は決着だな。
Squid, hi. How are you? How are you? At a glance, you couldn't tell the current situation on that chaotic chessboard. However, judging from Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious relaxedness, it looked as though it was already decided.
是非もなし。これもまた一興か。
わらわもだ。そなたとの勝負に決着がつくことは万感の思いあれど、もはや恩衆を超える。
Interesting. I'm doing well, finally working again, so I might be able to lurk streams again. Oh, nice! I hope it will be something that brings you satisfaction and, you know, the pride of a job well done. And I feel all warm and fuzzy inside that you chose to check me out in the morning. So, good luck with everything.
楽しかったぞ。
It'll bring a paycheck, that much at least. I feel you. I feel you. I'm kinda in that mode too.
退屈しない数十年であった。
Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move. It was thus decided.
チェックメイト。これがわらわからそなたへの手向けだ。心置きなく眠れ。
Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms. as though he had succeeded in a century-long plan. That laugh spat crimson. Oh my god. Oh my god. Crimson flames poured out from inside him, spitting even out of his mouth, ears, and nose, and all at once his body was wrapped in hellfire. But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more the hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. Those flames became a brilliant light, which dazzlingly shone on the various magic tools throughout the room, and made their distorted shadows dance across the walls. He's having a great time, and no kidding! Those shadows looked like the dead in hell in ecstasy over Kinzo as he burned. Oh my god, no, really. And for one who had made a contact with a witch, and who had reached the end of that... a contract, not a contact. A contract. And who had reached the end of that contract, it was an extremely fitting end. After laughing and howling in the roaring flames for some time, Kinzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings had been cut. Those incredible blazing flames disappeared as though they had burned up everything there was to burn, and afterwards all that was left was a festering and burnt body that would make you want to avert your eyes. Yeah, I want to not read about it as well. Thank you very much. The only thing he's missing is an umbrella cocktail. Then he would have a blast of a time. I see what you did there. I see it.
お前が言うか。ふさわしい死に方だと思っているくせに。
なぜお前が姿を現している？僕たちに何か用だとでも言うのか？
よしてカノン君。ベアトリーチェ様を挑発してはダメ。
すっかり怯えさせてしまいましたね。
わらわはつくづくカノンとは仲良くなれぬようだ。そう嫌いでもないというのにね。
Beatrice smiled broadly, or perhaps wickedly. Caron violently averted his gaze, obviously disturbed. His reaction was so different from what he had obviously intended that it made the witch and her butler laugh.
カノン、ベアトリーチェ様の御前であるぞ。言葉遣いに気をつけなさい。
ああ、構わぬぞ、源氏。
I mean, there's something here that, like, how do I put it? On the one hand, I understand he very deeply believes he is furniture and he has no feelings and no heart and no, personal anything. But on the other hand, there's like he spares no reaction, not a single glint of emotion to see his master, who he has served all of this time, which I'm assuming is decades upon decades, just burn. Okay.
好きに言わせてやれ。わらわは寛大である。
何が寛大だ。
わらわは死にゆく者にはいつだって寛大である。
Genji cold AF. I don't know how to interpret that. Is he cold? Is he like truly so into the furniture thing that he just completely shut off anything related to emotions within himself? I don't know. Ganon was brought to sudden realization by that creepy laughter. Beatrice's reason for being here was not just to take Kinzo's life. The first twilight required 6 sacrifices. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough. Oh, Desolane! Oh! Oh! That's so encouraging. It's so cute when you make statements like that, because it gives me a little bit of confidence exactly in moments when I'm feeling the most lost. Okay, thank you. And they had just nonchalantly come to this place.
安心せよ、カノン。 そなたらがここに訪れたから生贄に選ばれるのではない。生贄に選ばれているからこそここに呼ばれているんじゃないか。
なんだと。
They instinctively figured it out immediately. 6 sacrifices were required for the first twilight, but they're not 6. Together with Kinzo, they're 4. After Kinzo, how many more would you need to add up to 6? In this mansion, the number 5 instantly made him think of the number of servants here. Ah, I mean, yeah, if you put Kumasawa and Godai as well.
それがお望みですか。
うん。感謝せよ、家具どもよ。そなたたちの苦難の日々は、今宵ようやく終わりを迎えた。それを告げに訪れたわらわに感謝せよ。
かしこまりました。それをお望みでしたら。
源氏様。
Yeah, I guess furniture through and through, to the depths of his bones. Genji had agreed to the witch's heartless announcement in his usual manner, without raising an eyebrow.
親方様亡き後は、ベアトリーチェ様が我らの主。その求めに応じるのが我らの最後の務めだ。社の、かの、今日までよく仕えた。その労苦もこれにて終わりだ。
源氏はさすがですね。同じ家具としてあなたを誇りに思いますよ。
シャノン、異論はないか。
はい。
ジョージ様から指輪を贈られたそうだな。それでもなお未練はないか。
はい。家具の身に過ぎた幸福でした。指輪を頂戴しただけで私の思いはすでに達せられております。
Shano had not yet reached as high of a philosophical state of mind as Genji. There probably really were regrets left in her heart. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with the person of her thoughts, George. But she released herself from that. She took a single deep breath, and from that point on, the expression she wore was blank. This makes me kinda sad, because it kinda undoes, or at least for the moment it seems like it undoes her development from the previous episode.
それでよい。
シャノンがそこまでの落ち着きを得るとは少し驚きでした。あなたも家具として達観したようですね。
Has she?
惚れた男と夜も共にできず、少しは悔し涙をこぼ
there's
さ
that
ん
question
の。
again. Oh.
退屈な女よ。
ベアトリーチェ様ごときにこの気持ちはわかりません。私たちの命をご所望でしたらどうぞお受け取りください。私たちは慎んでそのお務めを全うします。
それでいい。よくぞ言ったな。
ベアトリーチェ様の苦手なタイプのようで。
最近こやつめはだいぶ達観しよった。どうも前回いじめすぎたようだ。それを言ったらバトラもか。わらわはまだぬるいのか、それとも追い詰め方が下手なのか。いずれにせよ面白みのないやつよ。しかしお前はまだわらわを楽しませてくれそうだよな、カノン。
カノン君。
Compared to the two who had attained a philosophical state of mind, there was a painful anguish on Kanon's face. Kanon was still far too young to accept his demise without regrets, after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch.
カノン、わらわは退屈を何より嫌う。そしてお前を除く二人が素直に死を受け入れるもので面白くない。だからそなたにはわらわの期待を裏切らないでもらいたいものだ。
僕を慰み者にしようというのか。
Kanon realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how much anger spurred him on, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He had no chance of victory from the beginning, but the witch was expecting that he would struggle in vain and writhe around, and was looking forward to it. Just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. It was disappointing the witch by refusing to resist like the other two, the only way he could strike back at her. It's a good
煉獄
question.
の七姉妹が長女ルシファーいでよ。
傲慢のルシファー、ここに。
カノン、家具に魔女と戦えというのも酷な話よ。そなたがいくら怒りに駆られようとも、勝算のない戦いでは希望も持てまい。無論、勝ち目のない戦いでは、わらわも退屈というもの。ならば、家具は家具。家具同士で決着をつけてはどうか。それならば、勝てる希望も持てるであろう。
恐れながらベアトリーチェ様。私がそのような出来損ないの家具に劣るようなことがありましょうかこんな可愛い子に私が万一にも負けるようなことなど。
As high and mighty as always.
我が家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ってみせよ。見事打ち破ってみせたなら、そうだな。13人の生贄を逃れることのできる5人を、そなたに自由に決めさせてやろう。そなたの推薦する5人を、わらわは無条件にて、黄金鏡に迎え入れる。それならばどうか
Oh man. Kanon understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's condition was very tempting. The evil ritual the witch and the rest were trying to carry out was, at this point, not something that Kanon cared about in the slightest. On the contrary, it was much more important for him to survive, be invited to the Golden Land, and have his wish granted by Beatrice there.
そなたは家具は嫌だと泣いたな。そなたの望み、叶えてやろうぞ。枕を濡らしてまで望んだ人間の体を与えてやろうぞ。どうだ？そうすれば、ジェシカとも結ばれるぞ。おお、ちょうどよい。黄金鏡へ招ける5人に、ジェシカとそなたを推薦すればよい。自分だけが幸せになることに抵抗があるならば、さらにシャノンとその思い人であるジョージを加えればよい。
I mean, assuming this is how things would turn out in that scenario. Let's just assuming that. Would this really be something that would satisfy these four parties? I don't think so.
義理があるならばさらに源氏も加えればよい。
Beatrice gives some real Mephisto vibes in scenes like this. Oh yeah, constantly. She does indeed.
おお、これで5人だ。十分ではないか、カノン。これだけのご褒美があれば。そなたはわらわを退屈させはしないよな。
どうせ戯れよ。耳を貸す必要はない。
Yep, I agree.
僕は嫌だ。姉さんはそれでいいの？
Beatrice couldn't hide her evil smile at those words. Yeah, because she's creating this like conflicting situation of like he definitely within his heart does not want to just like bow down and be like, okay, take my life. But at the same time, he knows that any sort of sign of struggle or going against it or fighting for his life that he gives will only satisfy Beatrice even more. So which is it? What to do?
僕は嫌だ。
Tantalize is the word. Yeah, it's a good one.
幸せになりたい。
Aw, bless you.
家具なんてもう嫌だ。人間になって普通の恋がしたい。僕も姉さんのように海が青いってことを知りたいんだ。
Come on. And I love him. So far, 3 episodes, he's always makes like a very strong final stand. Bless him.
若いですね。羨ましい。
だから若者は好きなのだ。
Oh, fuck off.
ゲンジ、シャノンは下がれ。カノン、ルシファーは前へ。
仰せのままに。
気に入らないわ。ベアトリーチェ様は無理でも。私にだったら勝てるかもしれないという見下しが最高に気に入らないわ。
That was probably humiliating to Lucifer. But at the same time, she was also happy that she was so lucky to have this lovely prey all to herself.
魔女の家具。いつまでも僕を見くびることができると思うな。
Oh man. Unexpected Star Wars.
さあさバトラー。楽しい見せ物の時間であるぞ。
くそ、またおかしなことになりやがった。魔法バトルなんて認めてたまるかよ。
ほらほら、目をつむらずにちゃんと見ろよ。ほらほら、ほらほら、魔法だよ、家具だよ。そなたがどんなにわらわや魔法の存在を否定しようとも、ほらほら、ほらほらほらほら。
What form did Star Wars have? What?
こうして目の前でブオンブオンカキンカキンやられちゃ台無しだよな。ほらほらほらほら、もう思考なんて止めちまえよ。
Oh, yeah, okay, I understand the reference. No, sorry.
魔法はあるんだって。これはファンタジーなんだって。目を閉じるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。ほら。
畜生、魔女を認めない。魔法を認めない。でも、こんなにあからさまにやられちまったら、なんだっていや、いいんだ。
Yeah. Initially, I didn't realize that you were like using a line to like. I don't know why. I'm tired, I guess. But then it clicked. Okay, that's what you meant, and then it can stand as a metaphor for Star Wars going. Yeah. I think I'm fortunate that I have been exposed to the good part of Star Wars and not the rest. It was a good time. Yeah, I don't know what to say or do about these scenes either. I don't know what they're supposed to mean. Like, are they some metaphors for something else?
ほら、目を背けるなよ。しっかり見ろよ。
Because if we were supposed to just take them literally, then Beatrice would just put one of these scenes up. Would be like, okay, no more arguments, and the novel would end there, right? So that's not it.
魔法はあるんだよ。ファンタジーなんだよ。推理ごっことかやめちまえよ。知ってんだよ。ものを考えんの本当は苦手なんだろう。やめちまえやめちまえ。ほらほら、 どうせファンタジー、どうせファンタジー。
Yeah, but you also weren't streaming to an audience of people who already knew everything about it and who were there to be like, okay, how is she gonna react to this? And I have this feeling that I'm supposed to kind of like absorb everything and not miss the details and like be careful about how I interpret things and not take them for what they appear to be. And yeah, okay, there's a layer there. There's a whole layer there.
うるせえうるせえうるせえ
I am. That is also very true. I am also projecting that upon myself.
俺に話しかけるんじゃね
えこいつ意地になっちゃって。
Thank you, Zeku.
私になら勝てるなんて思い上がりをしたことを今すぐ床に這いつくばって謝ってごらんなさい。そうしたら特別に許してあげてもいいわよ。生きながら生皮を剥がして絶命するまで全身を鞭打ってのたうち回らすのをと可愛い子なんだから謝っちゃいなさいよ。そうしたらあなただけは最高に素敵な気分の中で優しく優しく生かせてあげる。
I like when people believe in the magic and root against Battler. I mean, I guess that could be a way to go about it. I don't. It's so over the top. It's so ridiculous that I can't bring myself to do it. And also, I guess I have to admit I have developed a very soft spot for Battler, and I want him to do well and not end up at the end of episode 2. So yeah, I can't go that way. It's not the experience that I can offer you. Sorry. Every time I glance back here over here, something here happening on screen. Pretty much the experience of Umineko, yes.
黙れ魔女の家具。お前と問答するつもりはない。
私なんか眼中にないというのね。
I believed in magic and rooted for Battler. That's an interesting combo.
気に入らないわ。イフを感じないその目。本当に気に入らないわ。
はあ
Canon actually putting up a good fight, bless him.
カノン君。
あやつ、サタンの時よりも筋がいいではないか。
だから人間は恐ろしいのです。たまに魔女にまでなり、悪魔を羊扱いにしたりいたしますよ。
What? Oh, the burn. Oh. Based Zeku. Yeah, he's always been based though. It's like his natural state of being.
わらわはどちらを応援すればよいというのか。
こいつ、私と互角に渡り合うというの？
僕を見くびるな。お前にそのおごりがある限り、僕には決して勝てない。
私がこの煉獄の7姉妹が長女ルシファーを指して決して勝てないと？こんな
Man, they're so arrogant. Jesus Christ. All of them. But I guess especially her, since she's like the head, the oldest one, whatever. Ugh. Kanon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had the strong desire to become human. But Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play. So that reached its inevitable result. For the ability to yield such a result is the power of humans. The power of the heart.
これまでだ。お前は僕に決して勝てない。
I could cry. Wasn't Kanon saying that he doesn't have a heart, that he's furniture or a duck or something along those lines? A glowing red trail extended straight out from Kanon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin. Or both. There was something involving both.
この私がこんなの何かの間違いよ
As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the reality right before her eyes. Kanon grew a pair. I refer to heart, obviously, not what you thought. Yeah. A pair of heart chambers or something along those lines. Yeah. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right before her eyes. Don't ask me why 2-1 is probably a spare. Aww. It's because 1 wasn't enough for all of the feelings he had within himself and he needed to express. That's why.
やるな、カノン。見事だ。わらわを退屈させなかった。それに比べ、わらわの家具のなんと情けないことか。
True and love build. Aww.
ルシファー、お嬢様を退屈させていますよ。やはりあなたには荷が勝ちすぎた相手でしたか？
失望するぞ、七食いの長女。
That would have seemed like nothing more than a simple rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew that kind of severe treatment was promised. Knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by that rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid.
この出来損ない家具が
Jessica is so sweet, you can't fit love for her in a single heart. Kanon is smart, be like Kanon. Yes, 100%. She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. That form was a demon's stake, which bounced and deflected off the walls all over the room.
よくも私にここまで恥をかかせたな。殺す殺す殺す殺すこのぬるまが私の姿をもはや追うこともできないくせにもう遊ばないよ。本気で怒ったわよ。お前の心臓を一撃で貫いてやるよ。ぶっすりざっくり貫いて真っ赤な血の噴水を天井にまで届かせてやるよ。死ねー。カノン君。
Hey Clinton, how are you? With the speed exceeding even the limits that the human eye could follow, Lucifer went wild and flew at Kanon's heart. Lucifer confirmed that the sweet taste she could feel was definitely Kanon's blood. But she quickly noticed she hadn't pierced Kanon's heart. What happened?
これだから人間は恐ろしい。
I'm happy to hear that, Clinton.
紅茶はいかがですかな？
今はよい。紅茶もいらぬほどに面白い。
カノン君。
おごったな。だからお前は僕に勝てないんだ。
The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Canon's blood, but it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Oh, oh my god, I'm really gonna cry. Canon has sacrificed his whole left hand to protect his heart. Lucifer was arrogant. Even though she had been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her, even so in her pride, she had believed that he was a worthless opponent. She had gotten careless. So just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot, because she was Lucifer the Proud. Canon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon stake sticking deep into his left hand strongly with his right, and pulled it out. The sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down could be heard. Okay, great, I don't need all of this detail. Lucifer is incompetent in red. Canon is amazing in red. I would go for that. Shannon instinctively averted her eyes. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand so big that you could clearly see through the other side. Great! More visuals. Thank you. Yeah, I know, Clinton. It's kinda like the most gruesome part of the novel, but at the same time, it's just described in words. It's not actually shown in images, so there's that. Canon's face was filled with agony, but in this very moment, he had won, without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again. Canon was now gripping exactly where her neck was. Ooh. Ooh. Alright. I don't know. I think I would be feeling worse if it was also shown. So at least when it's in writing, I can try to close my mind off a little bit and like not allow the image to form in my head and like move on quickly. But maybe that's just me.
僕の勝ちだ、ベアトリーチェ。
The one thing that he did extremely well, though, and I will give that to him, is the description of the, let's say, Halloween table. Okay, so we don't go into the details of it. That one was incredibly, like, no, I didn't want to read that anymore, but it kept going and going. I was like, yeah, okay, great. Great. This is not that bad. I guess we've been through so much worse that it's not affecting me. Canon didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight had already been decided. Canon had no obligation to be considerate. Squishy pulpy, yeah. But even so, Canon released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another piece of furniture, or a final show of respect to the witch? Why would Canon suddenly show respect to the witch? I don't think so. In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground and made as if to vomit, moaning over the pain in her throat.
お見事ですよ、カノン。あなたの奮闘により、金蔵の研究の正しさが一つ実証されました。
Ronoe was clapping his hands. The Canon, who had achieved a difficult victory, incurring a wound on his left hand that couldn't be closed. That applause seemed nothing but shallow.
人の心はあらゆる可能性を秘める。いやはやこれだから人間は恐ろしい。あっぱれであるぞ、カノン。そなたは勝利した。見事だ。
大丈夫？カノン君。
Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood.
見事であるぞ、カノン。 実に見事である。わらわも少しは番狂わせを期待した。それを裏切らぬとは、そなたは誠に素晴らしき家具であるぞ。見直した。正直見直したぞ。
約束を忘れてはいないだろうな、ベアトリーチェ。
もちろん忘れてはおらぬぞ。魔女も悪魔も非道ではある。だがしかし、契約に限っては人間など及ばぬほどに高潔だ。
I mean, technically, they defeated a stake of the witch. Not the witch herself. But yeah, I did not expect this in the slightest. I would have expected them to like torture him and eventually kill him. Again, just like before. Let's see where it goes then.
わらわは保護にはせぬ。そなたが勝利したなら、13人の生贄を逃れることができる5人を自由に決める権利を保証した。
ベアトリーチェ様、私はまだ破れたわけでは。
Ouchies. Beatrice twirled her pipe, and heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. Canon deserves suntan with an umbrella cocktail somewhere on Bahamas, definitely. Make that like a dozen umbrella cocktails, because one is not enough. So as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first surely don't feel the same way.
お嬢様。
Oh, it doesn't have to be an alcoholic cocktail, okay? It can be... it can be a Shirley Temple, okay? That's fine, it's a delicious one anyway.
さすがにやりすぎでは。
それもそうであるな。許してやるか。
Beatrice spun her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So as a horribly natural result, this time with extreme legitimacy, she fell back onto the floor. Great.
ベアトリーチェ様、お許し
を。何を怯えておるか。わらはもはや許したぞ。さてカノン、続けようではない。
何をだ、まさか彼女にとどめを刺せとでも言うつもりなのか。
ああ、違う違う。まだ終わっちゃいないだろうが。
何をだ、はぐらかすな。
わらわは確かにそなたと約束したぞ。わらわの家具、煉獄の七杭を打ち破ったならとな。
What does that even mean? You spin me around, Lucifer edition, something like that.
さあさあおいでなさい、煉獄の七杭。不甲斐なき長女の6人の妹たち。
She clearly indicated to just one. But of course, this is Beatrice, so this is how we roll. Yeah, alright, there it is. With shrill, laughing voices, the air split and gold sprayed everywhere as the remaining 6 of the 7 stakes of Purgatory showed themselves. All of the 7 sisters of Purgatory, only one of which Canon had been able to defeat by sacrificing his left arm, were gathered. By now, Canon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game with a witch would be on an even footing. No cocktail for Canon this time. I'll make him one. He can come chill at my place. I'll take care of him. He deserves it. He deserves a break. Jesus Christ. She never breaks a promise, but that promise is never what you thought it was. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's also the thing, like, that's generally the thing with her, and the thing with the Red Truths, and with everything around her. It's like making a deal with the devil. It's not what you thought it would. Like, it's fun in different directions and meanings and so on. Why Bahamas? Kraus will turn Rockingham into a high-class resort any day now. I mean, if we are to take like some time off, let's please not go to Rockingham. No, thank you. No.
お前たちだからお姉様はダメなのよ。長女を偉そうに名乗るくせに上っ面だけなのよ。まったくルシファーお姉様一人の集体が私たちへの評価を下げるのよ。恥を知りなさいな。
But yeah, Rockingham is kind of not my vibe as far as pleasant vacations go.
この未熟者が
Now, if I wanted the bloody and murderous one.
カロンくん、すごいすごい。でも、いい気にならないことよ。ルシファーお姉様なんて、威張ってるだけで姉妹の子じゃ大したことないんだから。
The real Rockingham looks pretty comfy though. Kraus is the best CEO ever, I guess. I don't know, like, the experience of Umineko plus And Then There Were None has made, like, my claustrophobia reach a new level of islands that you can only reach by boat, and you are strictly reliant on other people to come to you by boat to pick you up from there. They're a big no-no. It's just as worse as being trapped in a very tightly enclosed space for me. It just gives me the exact same vibe, like the example, like I can't breathe kind of thing. I'm stuck here. No, never. No, thank you. Bye. Yeah.
だからルシファー姉は何もしなくていいといつも言っている。お姉様は威張ってだけいればいい。荒事はすべて優秀な私たちで片付けるのだから。
お姉様、どうする？私たちはお姉様のプライドを尊重して、そのボロボロの体で再び挑むのを期待して手出しをしないつもりなんだけれど、でもカノン君は強いわよね。今のお姉様じゃ、もうどうあがいても勝ち目はないわよね。
Ah, okay, I see, I see. I hadn't looked into it. Like, I'm just generally not looking into anything related to Umineko to avoid spoilers. So I did not know. I would love Kraus's financial advice. Oh man. Beware. Say, sorry, do the opposite of what he says. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
やれやれ、いつも賑やかな姉妹たちであるな。今は仲違いをしている場合か。そなたらは7人揃ってこその煉獄の7姉妹であろうが、仲良くしてわらわの仕事を遂行せよ。
Yeah, I guess so, I guess so.
迅速にな。
ねえ、ルシファーお姉様、私たち妹の力が借りたいなら言ってよ。お姉様の口から助けを求める言葉が聞きたいの。
私はこれ以上苦労する気か。
愚かでひ弱で見苦しくて情けない。この長女のルシファーを どうか妹の皆様お助けください。ねえ、聞かせてよ。それを聞かせてくれたら助けてあげる。それでいいわよね。
The original CGs are literally just photographs that Rikishi took of places he thought that looked cool with the filter put over them. He saw a famous Western mansion in Tokyo and used that for Umineko. Oh yeah, I knew the first part. Like we had discussed about it I think before, and Bear shared some images in the Discord. So yeah, but I didn't know the second. All right.
Mina!
So that's what you meant by real Rokkenjima. Got it. Also a very loving relationship these sisters have. Yeah, great one. There it is, all the love. The seven sisters of Purgatory taunted their elder sister, calling her worthless, verbally abusing her. Yay, that's love. Even Kanon, who had been fighting her for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look straight at it.
私がそのようなことを口にできるものか。
早くせよ。どうせお前一人では拉致があかぬわ。早く七姉妹にてカノンを撃て。
そら、どうしましたか、ルシフは。お嬢様の命令ですよ。
ひどい。
Lucifer ground her teeth over and over, hurled curses at her sisters, and then, as she trembled all over, she answered her sister's request.
愚かで、ひ弱で、見苦しくて、
情けない。
情けないこの長女ルシファーをどうか。
She was finally unable to endure saying those degrading words, and the girl bearing the name of Pride broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly. Yeah. I don't know if I'm supposed to feel anything for her there, but I don't. I don't care.
泣いてごまかさないで。まだいいっつってない。
もう十分だろう。さあ姉妹たち、我らの力を見せてやろう。
私は全部聞かなきゃ満足しないわよ。ほらほらお姉様、続けてよ。
もう十分よ。さあ、この屈辱は姉妹全員の屈辱。生かして返しはしないわよ。
さて、哀れな家具をどのように遊んでやろうかしら。素敵な提案はある？
はい。ベルゼは仲良く7人でカノン君を分けっこしたらいいと思います。
良い提案だな。それでなら姉妹でみんな仲良しだ。
なら私頭部ね。手足はあんたらにあげるわ。やだダメ。私が頭なの。
Episode 4 spoiler: the stakes are the best girls. I just don't know how that can be. Yeah.
そんな約束意味があるわけないでしょ。早い者勝ちに決まってるわ。
どんな殺され方がいいかカノン君の提案があったら教えてね。7姉妹でとびっきりの殺し方をしてあげる。
くそ。ここまで恥をかかせたんだもの。八つ咲きでも足りない。百咲きにしてくれる。行くよお前たち。
はい、お姉様。
The 7 of them burst at once. They had no desire to play or boast. This time they would genuinely follow their master's order. Slay Kanon. Swiftly. The 7 sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, deciding how they would kill Kanon. They tortured Kanon with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, and cheeks, carving red lines into his body. At that time, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. Shannon. Aww. I was thinking that eventually she would probably try to do this for him because they're so close. Aww. At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the two of them like a beam of light sent from heaven. That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Kanon.
何？ずるい！あんたは関係ないでしょ？きっとこれはあれよ。私たちと一緒に遊びたいのよ。なら私がもらうわ。いっただき！ベアトリーチェ様、シャノンを私たちの獲物にしても？
ああ、構わんぞ、好きにしろ。お前たちの悪食にはカノン一人では足らなかろうしな。
ありがたき幸せ。さあ、しゃしゃり出てきたことを後悔させてやろう。
どっちがどっちかわからないくらいの肉片にして、混ぜてミンチにしてハンバーグにしてあげる。
バカね。それよりあの結界を破る方が先でしょうが。食い意地より先に仕事しなさい。
はーい、お姉さん。
As a horrible natural first action, the Seven Sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was extremely strong. It was enough power to impress even Beatrice. It was strong enough that frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it, and it was firm like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. For the Seven Sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier while it was a pain was not impossible. The sound, like beetles jumping around, grew even more fierce and filled the room. They cut up and steadily eroded away that red barrier as though with a hatchet, a saw, no, a chainsaw by now.
愚かな。君の結界ではその子たちを防ぎきれないことは知っていたでしょうに。なぜ？
見過ごせないからです。
Yep. Shannon spoke back resolutely as she covered Kanon, who was already spent of all his energy and sprawled on the floor.
しゃしゃり出なければ眠るような死を与えてやったのに、なぜわざわざ七姉妹の前に身をさらすのか。死は同じではないぞ。苛烈な死は死してなお苛むぞ。
Clearly, you understand nothing about what's happening in front of you. Clearly.
あなたがしたいことを好きにするように、私もしたいことを好きにしたまでです。
どうにもそなたはこのところ面白みに欠けるな。恋というやつは達するかどうかのあたりが一番面白い。達してしまった後の女はさながら産卵を終えた鮭のごとしか。そなたにはもう飽きた。
What?
ありがとう。魔女から聞ける言葉で最も嬉しい言葉です。
ならせめて最後にわらを思いっきり喜ばせる死に方をしてみせろよ。七姉妹を聞こえたな。シャノンの殺し方、お前たちの残虐の限りを見せてみよ。
シャノン、
申し訳ございません。やはり私には源氏様の高みには至れませんでした。
姉さんはバカだ。僕なんか放っておけば姉さんまでひどい目に遭うことは。
いいの。ジョージ様に指輪をもらって、女として生きられた。あなたをかばって、姉として生きられた。私のせいは、すべて、これで未練なく全うした。
Bless them.
イライラするぜ
Yes, be pissed off, Beatrice.
その達観が本当にイラつくぜだから家具なんだよお前からは人間の匂いがしねえんだよわらわを見ろよわらわこそ人間だろうが家具のくせにわらわよりも完成されたかのような達観したかのようなことを言うんじゃねえ
醜い。その未練があなたの正体なの。
Let your butt hurt flow through your veins. Yes, that's pretty much what it is.
未練じゃねえそれが生きるってもんだ指輪もらったから死んでもいいとか理解できねえさっぱりがっかり愕然呆然全然ダメだぜ
お嬢様少し品がないかと
うるさいわ家具がシャノン楽に死なせてもらえると思うなよ
Not the first time she says it tonight. I know this.
舌を噛むなら今のうちだ
哀れね。もしも私の目にあなたのその姿が映って、己が醜さに、おののくといい。
Yeah, Shannon, go for it.
安心しろよ。てめえはそれより、さらにめちゃくちゃぐちゃぐちゃに生きながら、醜く潰してやるからよ
Poor witches copy, great witches steal. At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Maybe that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then Genji softly held Shannon from behind and covered her eyes, with his right hand.
Genji-sama?
もう十分だ。先に休みなさい。
はい。ありがとうございます。源氏様。
After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand against the area around her collarbone. As he did, from the area where that left hand pressed, a crimson stain gently spread out. Is that Genji being a rebel? I mean, Bear, she's bullying and pushing everyone around. Like, yeah, I do like the moments when people stand up to her and like the result of that is her not being entertained because she was looking for entertainment in their suffering and in their deaths, which, sorry, but I cannot get behind. Oh, I'm sorry. The way Rizeku puts it is very funny. Bullied by a couple of chairs. Oh god. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't read that one. So, did I? When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. For just the very first instant, it appeared to be shaped like a crimson rose. She needs to get some new ones at the closest I can. And when he removed the right hand that covered Shannon's eyes, there was a peaceful expression on her face as though she was sleeping. And she fell softly, silently down, and slept. Mazda, don't talk back. Oh my god. I mean, I appreciate the jokes because they get me through the moments. These are not fun moments. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could never reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. Beatrice and the Seven Sisters were shocked by this scene. Only Ronoe had a mysterious expression along with his smile. Then Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor.
よく頑張った。お前ももう休むといい。
はい、ありがとうございます。ケンジ様。
Again, is this Genji being a rebel? Also, he is showing so much more emotion and involvement just from these gestures towards his, I guess, disciples? Not disciples, but like his apprentices. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Like his pupils. Then, like, infinitely more in just these simple gestures and his simple words that he showed towards Kinzo. Like, I would almost go back now and be like, he was like freaking cruel towards Kinzo. Like, nothing. Okay, but we'll see. He's kohai, yes, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, just as he had done with Shannon after gently covering Kanon's eyes with his hand, Genji gently covered the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand. And when that was removed, with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose shape. What does that mean? Oh, I'm so curious. But that rose shape quickly turned into the stain of bright red blood pouring out.
何よそれ
つまらぬやつ。生命の風船は針にてつき、威勢よく割るから面白いのだろうが。
見事です、源氏。それでこそ家具です。
ありがとうございます。それではベアトリーチェ様、ロノエ様、これをもって私の最後のお務めとし、おいとまをさせていただきます。
わらわの楽しみを勝手に奪いおって。この二人をギッタギタのぐっちゃぐちゃにしたかった分、そなたがそれを変わるのであろうな。
Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Ronoe spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile.
ご苦労でした。あなたは私の最高のしもべです。これまでの労をねぎらうに値する安らかな眠りを、あなたへの最後の褒美として取らせましょう。
おい、勝手な真似を。
Ronoe joins the armchair uprising. Oh, I love it. It's so good. When Ronoe snapped his fingers as if Genji was a puppet that had crumpled from its strings being cut, suddenly and yet gently, he fell sprawled on the floor into a sleep that witches couldn't call him back from. Which words to IKEA Strikes Back. Furniture needs to reunionize them. Oh my god. That was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Kanon. This was one of my favorite moments for Genji. Yeah.
なんだよ、ロノエ。
Like, that was big for him. One of the... I want to say, like, his most personality-filled and meaningful moment so far. He was truly dedicated to just simply being furniture before that. But this, wow. This is my favorite moment for Ronoe. Okay, I still don't know what it means for him or what the connection between them is, so it's hard for me to gauge, but I guess it definitely has some weight, although I cannot fully glimpse the meaning of it. But alright. Cool. I think that's actually a really good place to just make a save, because I feel like the banter is just gonna keep going or whatever, but it's already kind of late. So with that, we save and we shall also head over to sleep, but to literal sleep and not this kind of sleep, because no. We live to do this another day. 5 minutes away from the chapter end. I know, maybe. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. It's alright. Just offer me some kindness as well. And let me end it here. I made the save already. Yeah. How do I do this? Title, there it is. Yeah. This is a Beato bully moment, so I don't like it. Okay, so we skip it. We do it next time, and then we can quickly move over it and do something else. Yeah. I think that sounds like a plan. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming along. Apologies for the lack of camera. I will do my best that it's not repeated next time. But yeah, today I needed a little break, and actually it was quite comforting to just do this in the dark. Battle bully moment will start stream on a good leg. You think so? Next episode will have an iconic scene. Well, I'm looking forward to it, but I feel like all of them have something iconic in them. I know, I feel like this moment here is... It was pretty big. Okay, I don't want this. No, it's okay. It's pretty cool though. I listened to it before starting stream to kind of get me in the mood. It's a very cool opening. I will give them that. Alrighty. An especially iconic scene. Okay, looking forward to it then. Alright, well then I hope your week has started on the right leg. I hope your month of August has done the same. I hope it's not too hot that it destroys you wherever you are, because I personally am dealing really poorly with heat. But hey, at least more or less half of it is kind of gone. July and August are the worst here, but then in September it starts to get better, so yeah, it's gonna be okay. 18 degrees, woof, woof. Paradise. And rainy. Okay, that's not so paradise-like, but... Okay. Thanks so much again. You guys are absolutely lovely. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continue this next time on Thursday, where we left off, with 5 minutes remaining in the chapter. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a lovely evening, and see you then if you can. Otherwise, you know, hear you along the Discord, around the Discord, and stuff like that. Thank you, Bear. I appreciate it. Night night. Take care.